glows. In 1979, both Florence and I found ourselves divorced. I could still vividly recall sitting in a restaurant with her in 1967 when we were both college students. I had looked up at her, and she was glowing. Nobody else in the room was glowing at all. Isn't that amazing? Memories like this led me, in 1981, to visit her in Boston, where she was working for Polaroid. Our friendship took up where it had left off in college, but it didn't blossom romantically. Once, I tried to hold her hand and she rebuffed the advance. But we did have fun playing tennis at the fancy indoor tennis club she belonged to. I could see that corporate employees lived much more lavish lifestyles than teachers. In 1982, Florence visited me in Houston, where I belonged to no indoor tennis club. Free courts in the city parks were my haunt. Unable to convince Florence to rise at 6:30 a.m. to play when it was cool, 80 degrees, 95% humidity, we played at noon in 95-degree heat, same humidity. I suspect that she was not impressed with either Houston or my lifestyle. And I noticed that my paintings, which covered the walls, didn't seem to fill her with awe, though politely she refrained from comment. In cool Boston, she worked for a major corporation and earned a large salary. In hot, humid Houston, I taught students, lived a frugal life, and spent little money. Our lives were meandering along very different trails. Her visit came at the worst time of the year, summer. At any time of the year, Houston is not an aesthetic city. I remember once reading a brochure on an Air France jet when returning from Europe. When you travel to Houston, be sure to visit New Orleans. The Crescent City is about 300 miles away, a good 6-hour drive. On the positive side, Houston rarely has snow, so winter tennis is usually very pleasant. The second day of Florence's visit, the thermometer barely topped 90 degrees, so I took her bike riding and snapped a photo of her wearing my helmet. In the picture, though she's not sweating, she probably wasn't feeling cool and contented. We never said anything directly, but we had visited each other because we were both considering jump-starting our relationship. Unfortunately, that meant one of us would have to move. Florence would never leave Boston for Houston, and I was not ready to give up my friends, my house, my contacts, and start all over in the Northeast. Besides, we were still just friends. We'd have to start dating, not like in the past, but with romantic intent. And if our romance didn't work, I'd be stuck in Boston, where I could never afford enough space for painting large canvases. So we both came to realize that our relationship would not progress. Still, we kept in touch. In 1991, we were both in Atlanta at the same time and met for lunch. Other than that, we wrote short letters and postcards a few times a year. In July 2005, I sent Florence Christmas greetings, not because I was late, but because I always send Christmas cards in July. Who pays attention to greetings sent in December? A couple months passed, but that didn't mean anything. Eventually, I expected a postcard or a short note, but that didn't happen. She had died of breast cancer in April 2005. From time to time, fragments of our past flit through my mind at odd moments. When I'm riding the bus to work, swimming laps at the Y, priming a canvas. Funny thing, whenever I remember Florence, she always glows.